your chair, and that one would be.
And then would I be able to also use this for my social media content?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. I can send you the edited version, the whole video, whatever you decide. So.
Whatever way works. I want to see what you added because I want to do something similar
good,
to this. So this is interesting.
All right, so. I'll introduce you to everybody.
Okay.
And then we'll go into the questions. Let's do it.
Newberry is exactly
Newberry.
right. Listen,
Newberry.
either way you want to say it, as long as
So you work for Keller Williams.
Yes, sir.
And I think if I'm not wrong, the group is the Greater Metropolitan Realty.
Yeah, you know what? When I first went over there, I never realized that there's different brokerages within Keller. So I go over there with that long name. I'm thinking, how do I fit that into a card or something like that?
You have a bachelor's degree in communications and concentration in digital media studies.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Gabriel, thank you so much for coming. It's rush hour up there in Medina, and Gabriel, somehow he made it all the way from Cleveland.
Yeah, luckily I didn't get caught by any of the cops while I was speeding.
Share with us something that, I don't know, something that most people don't know about you.
Yeah, I also do videography, photography. So a lot of times for real estate, that's actually how I initially broke into the business, right?
Wow.
I started doing video work for a commercial real estate business and then ended up branching out. During the heat of COVID, decided to get my license. Figured there's so much money to be made, but not even money to be made. There's so many more opportunities in investing as well as in figuring out different transactions and how they work within the realm of real estate.
That's true.
So I immediately decided to jump straight in, and I still do videography, photography for my clients as well. So that's an added bonus.
So you made this decision while we were doing the COVID time, is that right?
Oh my God. Yeah, because back then I was still in college.
Okay.
So
oh wow. Okay.
I ended up going back. It was my senior year, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So when everything hit, I ended up just deciding, hey, let me go ahead and get my license and see what happens, and then worst comes to worst, I'll end up going for this and
awesome.
Jumpstart a sales career. Yeah.
I always tell people that some people look at I would say problems or situations as something negative, and some people like you, this is an opportunity for me, and just jump right into it. So I guess the mindset of people, which is great. That's awesome. So the game is 5 minutes, 5 questions, and we're gonna time you with sand time. And for our thumbnail, do you mind holding this and doing anything you like for the thumbnail?
I don't know, I'm losing time.
Oh, you're right. Question number 1. Is now a good time to invest in real estate? If so, why?
Absolutely. Right now, it's one of the most interesting times in real estate. Like I'm sure in the mortgage realm, you can also see it. Things are starting to balance out.
Yeah.
So for investors coming in, now might be a really great time because now there's not as many sellers that have these thoughts or ideas that their house can go 50, 80, 90, maybe even 100 grand over asking.
That's crazy.
Like you've been seeing some of these houses and it's just they're not appraising for that amount. So there's really no wiggle room for investors to be able to make profit. Yeah. And that shift in market, I feel like is a great opportunity for people. God forbid, if anything does happen, 6 months, a year, whenever, if a market does crash, you have some capital, you have some properties, and you have things that are tied down just in case.
Yeah, that's true. It's crazy what we see out there these days. Question number 2, losing my voice.
I'm losing my sand.
So, why do people like to do business with you?
One of the biggest things, I like to treat every one of my clients like their family. For me, It's very personal experience. I want to make sure that they're well serviced, and I want to make sure that they genuinely have utter honesty. If it's not a deal that I think would be profitable, if it's not something that's going to work, I would much rather express to them that idea. If they decide to move forward, that's absolutely fine. I mean, it's their money at the end of the day. But I genuinely want to make sure, just like you're part of my family, you're your friend, I want to make sure that I'm giving you complete and utter honesty and guidance through a transaction to make sure that they genuinely, they get what they deserve, because they worked hard for their money, and in the end of the day, they deserve to have that well spent.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you treat them like a family, how can you go wrong with that? Number 3, is the market going to crash? And if so, when?
I wish I had that answer to be honest, Isaac. I have no idea. I feel like it's bouncing more so than crashing.
Yeah,
is one of the biggest things. And like I said, it seems like sellers are starting to come off of that high horse of, I'm going to put my house at top dollar, just because, number one, with mortgage rates going back up, buyers don't really have the capital that they used to. So now there's concessions that have to be made on both sides, because buyer pool, there's still a bigger buyer pool. So buyers
that's crazy.
Are still going into bidding wars. So it's like, I don't feel like the market's going to crash, but at the same time too, anybody who tries to time the market is going to be absolutely wrong. It's crazy, the situations that come up, and you really have to keep that in mind.
That's true. Question number 4, have you ever thought about getting out of real estate?
Yes.
Who hasn't?
Exactly. Well, it's like from real estate agent realm, in the beginning, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough whenever you're trying to find your first few deals. It's tough when you're really, when you're going through a deal and you start to realize that this is something they didn't tell you in courses. Only 20% of the transaction is really in your control. Everything else is up to the buyers, the sellers, and you never know what's going to happen that might make the situation blow up. So you're walking step by step. That's why I prefer to treat my clients as family, because you're really walking step by step with them through all of these emotional turmoils. You never know what happens in their lives during the situation. And so you really have to go step by step into that. And that's emotionally taxing for somebody who's coming in.
It is, yeah. And it's all your responsibility too. If something goes wrong, like the title, the loan officer or somebody, it is your fault. And, and it's my fault because I've been tagging too much, but we ran out of time. Look at that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. It's okay. We have the last question. We'll make it quick.
One more quick, I promise.
Yeah. Last question is, what is the craziest request you've seen in a real estate contract?
Okay, just recently, I ended up having tenants inside a property, and they ended up deciding that since they were friends of the sellers, they didn't want to leave. So since they didn't want to leave, they said, well, you know what, you're going to have to just make something up. Since there was no 30-day notice, we're not going anywhere until 30-day notice comes in.
Gosh.
So we put this under contract in March. It just closed today. So put it under March, it closed today, and reason being, they couldn't find a place. They were renters, they couldn't find a rental, and they were terrified. And more often than not, this happens a lot. And so it's just, thankfully, they found somewhere. There was no eviction or anything, thank God. That needed to happen.
You don't want to go through that. It's a nightmare.
And they were able to find a spot. So
that's
everything
awesome.
ended up working.
Wow, that's crazy. March. I mean, this is the expense of your client, right? Because you got to extend the lock. And,
I felt bad for the sellers because they kept paying for it the whole time. So they were paying for the buyer to be able to. Luckily, she was staying with her family.
Yeah.
But they were compensating her for the whole time.
And these are the things that most people don't see, but they happen. Real life.
Yeah. It can sometimes be ugly.
Well, Gabriel, if people are watching this and they're like, you know what, I really like Gabriel, Cleveland area, or what areas do you normally work at?
All around Cuyahoga County. So even if you wanted to spread out over to Geauga or Summit, it really doesn't matter. Either way, you can definitely give me a call, and we can try to work something out that way, because I could always try to find you a good realtor in your area that you're looking for. So anywhere in Ohio, I'll be able to help.
That's awesome. That's great, man. Hey, thank you for coming. What's the easiest, fastest, the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way, contact me at my direct line, 215-617-4713. Feel free to reach out anytime. You can also reach me at my email, and hopefully, can I tag that into the description?
Yeah, absolutely.
Email will be in the description, so definitely feel free to email me anytime too.
So put your email, LinkedIn, any social media that I can find from you, so they will find you somehow, someday.
Absolutely everything. And then also, I will also have my TikTok included. I sometimes give some different tips with regards to real estate in general. If you were ever interested in becoming a real estate agent yourself, this might be helpful. At the same time too, I also give some investment advice. I most often deal with investors, so if you were ever considering investing in the Cleveland area, definitely feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help.
Gabriel, thank you so much for coming. This is the one and only. Appreciate it. Appreciate you driving.
You're amazing.
And we will see you. We'll see you next. We'll see you soon.
Yes, we will.
Hi, buddy. You went good, I think.